Good evening, folks. We got two cats right here who are often more excited to see some cosplayers than some girls naked. This is GGWP, Geeks, Game, and Whatever podcast. I'm your host, Dre, and we got
Taylor.
And I want to start off with, so last week we talked about a lot of reboots. Before we get to that, I think me and you, we're kind of older gentlemen. We're not necessarily old, but we're in a little older age. Taylor being much older than I am.
Hey, not that much.
We grew up in the age that I think a lot of things that are never going to come back. One of them is wrestling, like WWF versus WCW. That's an age we grew up in. That's something that's ways away because you had the WWF on top nowadays. WWE.
Yes, and they've bought all the other wrestling stuff. So
we haven't there's not like a monopoly of wrestling, and there's other wrestling factions, but they're never going to be as big as the WCW WWF rivalry. We also grew up in the age of backwards compatibility, where you could buy a new system, say PS3, and you could still play PS2 games. You could buy an Xbox 360 and still play Xbox games.
Limited, games, but yeah,
limited games, but that's gone away. Something that's probably going to be coming back. But I think the one thing that's really never going to come back, the benefit we have of being so old, is we have what I like to call the golden age of cartoons, where cartoons were on Saturday mornings and every kid was excited to see them. Cartoons were on Nickelodeon. You had crowds watching them. I would say the late 80s, like 85-ish, until the 90s. We have what I like to call the golden age of cartoons, where cartoons were better than anything they have now, and probably better than anything they'll ever produce.
And it wasn't always on Saturday mornings. It was also, when we got from school at 3 o'clock, 3 to 5, you had a 2-hour block of, you had Fox, later WB, they had Disney Kids, Disney stuff.
I mean, everyone... We have cartoons. Disney has some great cartoons. Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, Chippendale Rex.
And for some reason, you like Gargoyles. I didn't like
Gargoyles?
I didn't like for some. I did.
Okay. So you didn't like Gargoyles. That's cool. Not Gargoyles wasn't for everyone, but I want to say Gargoyles was a great cartoon. We also had Batman. We also had cartoons. And basically, if it was popular, there was a cartoon for it when we grew up.
Well, WB had Batman, Superman, and the Batman Superman Adventures.
Yeah, there was even a Kid and Play cartoon and.
Those are Saturday morning cartoons, yeah.
MC Hammer cartoon.
And they had Ace Ventura, the Earthworm Jim.
Men in Black cartoon. We just had cartoons galore. If it was popular, there was a cartoon for it. And typically speaking, they were pretty decent cartoons. That's gone by the wayside. So if you had a chance to bring back a cartoon, remaster it, this is a two-parter. So if you had a chance to bring back a cartoon and have it remastered, redone, recut so it kind of fit today, which cartoon... And there's a lot of cartoons, so we can go through this. We probably can go for this for a whole episode. But which cartoon would you specifically bring back?
All right, so I have two cartoons I love. I seriously I think the best cartoons out there. It's either between I have an undying love for Eek the Cat. Eek the Cat was like, for some reason that it stuck with me. I love the cartoon. The humor, so much adult humor in that cartoon went through, and it was allowed. And also, Freakazoid.
Freakazoid. I was never a Freakazoid fan. I'm not gonna lie. Freakazoid to me, I did like the intro where it's a guy hitting these random keys on the keyboard and it just happens to give him superpowers. I've always wondered how that would be, but I'm with you on Eek the Cat. It wasn't my favorite cartoon, but I watched it.
Yeah, and it was also they also had that Eek/Terrible Lizards, like half and half cartoons.
So that's what I loved about Eek the Cat. I'm saying because Eek the Cat, it was like a variety cartoon. It was like the equivalent of like SNL.
Yeah,
it had like the main character, but it had like skits.
Yeah,
with other little parts. Like they had like those little mouse, maybe, or maybe that's Tasmanian Devil. But
I think Tasmanian,
yeah. But either way, it had like parts of it, and I really like the music in Eek the Cat. That's one thing I remember is like they always had that joke music. Mm-hmm. I don't know, and I actually specifically remember one episode where they're like these guys that are running for like the FBI or something.
Really?
And they were like hiding in a cement truck, and then for the longest time they were playing like I Spy, and they're all in a cement truck, so they just kept saying Gray. I don't know, and then it was funny because there was like this part where they're all hiding out in these costumes, and then Eek the Cat's watching TV, and they're like, based on our predictions, this is exactly what they'll look like today. And it's exactly what they're wearing. And they're like sitting there like, what the hell? I don't remember what exactly happened, but it was funny. So I remember actually liking Eek the Cat. So I'm with you on that one. Specifically, one cartoon I would bring back, remaster, re-edit, is the Exo Squad.
Exo Squad.
Do you remember that Exo Squad?
I remember seeing. I remember seeing that cartoon, but I never watched an episode.
It was basically a modern day, kind of like Robotech-ish. And what happened was they basically had created these mutants who took over the Earth. Mm-hmm. It was a great cartoon. It was like, what if we had created this artificial being as a human with no emotions? And they're basically modern day slaves, right?
Really?
Well, the slaves revolt, and they got better technology, and it just went back and forth. So it was a very militaristic cartoon, but it was one of the best cartoons ever made.
What channel was that on?
It was on USA.
USA.
So, and it was a pretty good cartoon. You can actually catch it on Hulu Plus now, or Hulu, or however that goes. But it's a great cartoon. And if they could remaster that, re-edit it, have somebody like bring it back, that would be awesome. Now, part 2 to this question is, given those cartoons, which one would you want to see a live action of?
Live action.
Mind you, we have a lot of cartoons to go through.
I know. Now, are we picking the same two or same one that we picked?
No.
Okay,
you can pick a different one. Because some remaster wouldn't work. I would never imagine Transformers in live action. Exo Squad I could, but that's not my pick. But
yeah. Shit. Which one would I want to see? God, there's so many things.
I'm always catching it. Every week I come up with a new question and I catch Taylor off guard. It's always interesting because he actually has to think. He's like, damn.
What? Tell me yours first. I'm thinking of. What would you know? You obviously have something in mind that you wanted. You would remake.
Okay, so something I had in mind that I would remake.
In live action. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm saying a cartoon that would really great live action is Robotech. Not exactly Exo Squad, but Robotech.
Like the Macross stuff.
The Macross stuff, Robotech. I think that would be great live action.
Okay.
It'd be kind of Battlestar Galactica-ish, so it kind of seemed like there's no need for it. But I think ultimately that would work on its own. Because I don't know, there was a lot there that worked better for humans than it would cartoons. To me, mm-hmm. I think it would seem. I mean, given that you give it the right director, the right amount of money, the right squad, and the second one, actually, I think another one I would really love to see live action is Pirates of the Dark Water. Do you remember that one?
That is I'm okay. Yeah, I remember. That's not. Is that the same one? The guy, the bird that like mangoes or pomegranates?
That pomegranate bird. And
yeah,
he called him like a monkey bird or something.
Yeah, I remember talking about. Yeah,
it was basically like a modern day pirates, but it had like a whole theme. Like there's like they were all pirates. They were all basically all bad pirates. You had the good bad pirates and the bad pirates. And they were all running from what is called dark water, which is basically consuming the world. One guy was basically just helping it along, and the other guy was trying to go all out to stop it. It was a great cartoon. It was like a Aladdin, almost.
On the sea. How about Mask?
Dude, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
For those of you who don't know, Mask was military or the secret, like a squad that had these vehicles that could transform into other vehicles. It was. I remember the motorcycle turned into a helicopter. And
was it really?
That's the one vehicle I remember. But just thinking like the cheese factor of today's like market and what you could get away with. I think if you can get with Transformers, then you could do a Mask.
And I think because Mask itself was like a mix of Centurions, which is like a really old cartoon, also part of the golden age of cartoons. And Transformers, where you had these guys who were just normal guys, but as soon as they put on their mask, their vehicle transforms, and they were awesome vehicles. One dude had a jet, or a helicopter that transformed to a jet. The main character had a truck, oddly enough, like Optimus Prime, that had like a whole like kind of base militaristic compartment to it.
Yeah.
There was this one guy who had a Jeep that transformed into like a water car or something. Like a jet ski. It was a very interesting cartoon. It's something that only worked in like the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
But I could see that. It's actually something that would work.
So you don't want to see Street Sharks or anything? Street Sharks? Or
Street Sharks or Biking Mice from Mars?
Yeah. Or what was that cat show? That was SWAT Cats.
SWAT Cats was awesome. That would be a great... It just wouldn't work out in humans. I would get
Or would you want to see PJ and the Bear? Was it PJ and the Bear? With Tone Loc as a
you're right. I forgot. So I'm telling you, golden age of cartoons.
Or how about was it not Adventurous Max, but fucking Fantastic Max.
Fantastic Max with the
Was
little
it the little baby who had the
he
fucking
had that like a CP30
say,
robot toy thing?
rocket and roll it and go into fucking space with his little.
And that little thing he pulled the back string. What about let's just go ahead and reminisce about this while we're in the moment. What about he had the hat.
He had the hat
with the M on it. I want to say it's not Mighty Max.
Mighty Max.
Okay,
yeah.
Mighty Max, and he had that little talking bird.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget why he.
Fuck it. No, you know what I want to see? I want to see a Captain N, the Game Master, live action.
Is that the Captain Nintendo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I on Netflix you can see those.
Can you really?
Not streaming, but you can get the discs.
Oh, okay. That's still good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but you like those so some of the cheapest animation and the worst voice work, but it's the nostalgia. I mean, and
it really is.
You see, like
we even had a Mario cartoon and a Zelda cartoon, which is still in
awesome. And you even saw Zelda and Link in the Captain and the Game Master cartoon. And for those who don't know, Mario Super Show, and then every Monday, Thursday, and Friday was Zelda episodes.
And even then, one step further, I think that they brought the original Mega Man cartoon, or at least they had a Mega Man.
Not the Battle Network, right? Was it Mega Man Battle Network?
I don't remember. I just remember there was a cartoon in Mega Man. I only specifically remember Cutsman. I'm not sure if they had more episodes to it, or maybe because they were like there was like a squad of them. There was like it
was all the first all the robot masters from the first game.
So yeah. And then further on, they actually had another Mega Man cartoon, which was really good. Mm-hmm. Super Fighting Robot, and they had awesome theme songs. That was probably the part I remember the most about it. But we had, I'm telling you, Golden Age of cartoons, DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Doug, Rugrats. I could go all.
Those are Nicktoons though.
But they were great. Do you argue that they're great?
No. I'm saying.
I'm saying we had cartoons. We were just a cartoon watching generation.
Yeah, we were.
We could talk more about cartoons back then, and we can actually talk about real TV shows.
Yes, because that was our life. We consumed. We watched. Do you remember? Oh shit! Now we're gonna go on this for a little. Do you remember? Okay, during was it during the summer or during the? There'd be a night, where, like on Friday night, they show cartoons for the upcoming season. Like you'd have like 2 hours of upcoming cartoons. You'd see cartoons that were premiering in the new season in the fall. They have one night, like on a Friday night, where you'd be up and you can watch it like at night, like from 8 to 10.
I remember they did something like that for a Cartoon Network.
Yeah, they had that, but they had some actually on the network. They had it on channel like 2 or 4.
I must not have caught that then.
But yeah, you could watch like 4 shows that are cartoons coming up from the next or premiering the next season. So you get to watch them like the first episode. Yeah. And I remember watching. I was like 6, 7. Was it Dino the Last Dinosaur?
Denver
the Last Dinosaur. There you go.
That also came on USA. That came on right before Dino Saucers.
Oh jeez.
It was
cool horrible puns.
What was cool about Denver the Last Dinosaur, it was a emotional comedy cartoon.
It was.
There wasn't a lot of action. It was just basically having like this. I hate to say it, but like he was a dinosaur, so he's like a kind of stupid to begin with, but it was like having like a friend with like a mental illness, basically. They painted it like a dinosaur, disability. But really, it was just like having like a friend and like accepting this friend that has problems that you wouldn't kind of be embarrassed to bring out in public. Well, in their case, they can't bring him out in public. He's a dinosaur, but it was just having a friend with a disability. Yeah, and like how they love this. It is a very emotional cartoon.
It was. I got really sad at the end when we had to go back home.
Yeah.
I actually got really sad. I remember that part. I'm not gonna lie.
You got me kind of crying too right here. We had an awesome car. We also had the G.I. Joes, the Gems, which is all about music.
Gem and the holograms,
which is basically a modern age Hannah Montana, I guess.
I suppose. And, I never watched that. I never watched Gem. I never watched She-Ra. I guess I was a sexist little boy.
She-Ra. Jim was cool because it was like that punk 80 rock music style.
Yeah, it wasn't really. It was like poppy stuff. It was like Tiffany.
But still, that kind of. It was just interesting. What I'm saying is,
she had a little pink in her hair. She had a,
It was interesting. I mean, for a cartoon, because they had all kind of cartoons. But that one I thought was interesting, and it came on right before some cartoon. I was, I can't remember which one now.
It was either like Police Academy on like it was in the. It was
you remember Cops? Okay, let's take it back. I want that to be a live action. Do you remember Cops?
You remember? Is that the Cops in the future?
Yeah,
the future Cops and had the black guy with the glasses and the trench coat. And,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that one.
Man, that was awesome. That was like a take on like almost like G.I. Joe, with there were cops and they were from the future.
I remember the one episode that he had to go and investigate this woman who had bought turbo trikes for these little these three her grandchildren, but they're really criminals who were really short, like small people.
Yeah.
So I remember that episode.
So anyway, everything we're talking about, if you go to a website I had found not too long ago, retrojunk.com, it has like all the intros to all these shows we're talking about. They have, do you remember Count Duckula?
I remember Count Duckula was a vampire who was a vegetarian on Nickelodeon.
Duck.
Yeah.
Man, we had awesome. I'm telling you. Man, we could just go on the whole episode watching all these cartoons. Now, let's go ahead and switch into the topic. The reason I brought that up, because last week we talked a lot about reboots.
We talked about movies coming up, and we did mention some of the movies coming up this summer were reboots.
A lot of them were reboots. RoboCop, which actually came out, I meant to catch it. Maybe I'll catch it this weekend. They keep rebooting Godzilla, and they had to reboot Spider-Man for like actor reasons. But what makes a good reboot? Let's talk about reboots. Like, when is
okay? Now, is it reboot or remade? Because reboot is the newest version of they stopped saying remake and they started saying rebooting. They rebooted. Okay, what makes a remake? What makes a reboot? Because those are two different things. That people say too.
I'm gonna have you school me on this one because I think they're the same exact thing. I say remade. Okay, I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna say a remake. In a reboot, you take everything from the original, you just try to modernize it. You just want to take the exact story and just trying to add new actors, new effects, so it's essentially no change. Where a reboot, you take a lot of the core elements and say, okay, it would be better this way.
It's like saying a tribute band and a cover band. It's the same thing. Well, tribute band, I think a tribute band gets like everything right with like the look and the sound. Cover band just covers their songs. So in this case, a remake would be a shot for shot remake of essentially the first whatever the material was.
And they may not even shot for shot, but just trying not to lose anything. I mean, some things you're gonna you have a cop walking around with an afro. It's not gonna like fit in today. If you watch it, it's like, why is he having an afro?
Yeah, you're right. You're gonna modernize it.
Yeah, so you'd modernize it. Like he'd have the whatever pop haircut that would be, then he'd go with that.
Yeah, whatever technology was available. Not too much, not overboard to take away from the story and stuff. And then a reboot would be possibly a new story. You can go as far as
same character names but different sex, or they're like have a different gender identity. They might even be a robot now.
You used last week the phrase retcon a lot, so I guess that'd be that. So I don't know what's better. What's better? What would you think? A reboot or a remake?
I'm all for reboots. Remakes, 'cause certain things worked well with that time. Some things are timeless, but certain things that just wouldn't fit nowadays. Like Denver the Last Dinosaur. Let's go back to that. If you put that today...
Make you cry? You want to see some tears?
It wouldn't even work as a remake, because you'd have like a whole generation of kids that are just kind of lost on like, this is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
So you'd have to reboot that and then have to like change it so it would fit better for today. So I'm more for reboots than remaking, because I think remakes are time and place. Mm-hmm. You made that right then and there because you had that idea, and now it necessarily wouldn't work in time. So I'm more for reboots, and I think. Well, what do you think?
You know what? I seen that a writer director may have a writer director of that time, whatever it may be, may have a look that they want to show in the film, but maybe a newer director who has a more visionary director, who sees things differently, and who maybe someone who's grown up with the current generation. So they see a different way. They want it, maybe this to be better this way, this to be better this way. Maybe throw in X, Y, and Z and see what happens there. So maybe I'm up for a reboot, because that's all I've really been seeing lately is these are reboots. So that's all I really know. Right,
and I think to me, I'm all for reboots. Certain things don't need to be rebooted. I think Hollywood's doing nowadays is they jump to a reboot as quick as they can, because they just want the money, and they don't even go about like doing it the right way. Like if
it's a nostalgia factor too.
Yeah, there's a nostalgia factor to it all. Yeah, like some things. Let's talk about a reboot. I thought was unnecessary. Whoa, it's still necessary. Godzilla. That's been rebooted, and by the time they reboot it, it happened so quick that I don't even remember what the original Godzilla was like anymore.
Would you rather them just name it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
If they're gonna reboot it, or
no, like would you, if you don't want to reboot it, then a remake would be just a shot for shot, or essentially the same thing except a newer.
Well, it's okay. So I talked about looking forward to the new RoboCop. I thought it was a perfect time for a reboot because the old RoboCop, there's a nostalgia factor, but you have like a whole, almost 2 generations of people who don't even know what or who RoboCop is.
Yeah.
My sisters who are very young have probably never even heard of RoboCop, so if they see this robotic cop walking around there, to them it's new.
Yeah.
That's when I think a reboot time is perfect, when it's new to a large generation, and then some old generation can come catch it if they want.
Yeah.
I mean,
so the people back in the 80s when it happened, when it was created, who were teenagers, are now adults with kids. So those kids are going to be able to watch the newer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and with 20 years time that passed, so you can do it like Tron. That wasn't a reboot. That was just like a sequel. But the technology is so different now that Tron was something that they managed to do. But
have you seen Tron lately? Have you tried to go back
and
watch?
I have. I have the special feature that comes with the original Tron, and you watch it, and it's like, wow, I don't remember it looking like that when I was.
It's somewhat hard to watch at times because like this is
no, so it really is.
Yeah,
like at the time when you were a kid and those effects were like state of the art, you're like, wow. But then you watch it now, and you're just kind of like, damn, I cannot remember media looking this bad.
Yeah,
it's like when you go to YouTube and you like look up like some old music video and then they show it and it's like all pixelated and the resolution is like really bad, and then top it off, it's like a square.
Yeah, the 4x3.
Yeah, and it's like, and you look at it, it's like, damn, we must have come a long way since then.
I watching Hulu shows like old, like I've been catching up. On Yu-Gi-Oh. I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh like the past couple of weeks, and it's 4x3. It was not HD.
Yeah.
So on my TV, my HD TV, it's boxed in the corners. So there's 4x3. So I don't know, seeing just not like not that it looks old, but just the 4x3, and then seeing the old technology plus the 4x3. It takes you back.
It does definitely take you back. There's some remakes that are not remakes, but reboots that I think are pretty well done. There's a lot of films because you actually did some research on this.
Yeah, on Wikipedia, there's a whole list of reboots, and I didn't write on every single one.
Yeah, a lot of these films I didn't even know were rebooted. I mean, I didn't realize that Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah, Angels in the Outfield.
That was like, huh.
Yeah, and so 310 to Yuma was made. Have you seen that movie 310 to Yuma?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay,
no.
Well, that came out in 1957.
See, that's what it's perfect time. 50 years almost. There's like a whole generation lost on that.
I didn't even know.
I mean, that's my grandparents almost.
Yeah.
So maybe my parents' parents. That's probably when they're together, because my parents wouldn't have watched it because they were just being born. So my grandparents might have watched that. So, and top it off, that's a huge jump in technology. You were talking about black and white TV to HD, IMAX, 3D TV. So
yeah, but it could be done back then only because it was a Western. So they really didn't have to go that much technology for a Western. The Amityville Horror. Did you watch that? I am not a horror fan. I hate horror. I am a big old scaredy cat.
Really?
Yeah. I can't watch scary movies.
That's interesting.
Unless the lights are on, doors open.
I didn't know that.
Even then, like, whatever, that night, I'll fuck myself. I'll fuck. My brain will say, you know what? It's time to get scared. You want to go to sleep? Nope. Nope.
I'm actually a huge fan of horror movies. Okay, I'm not a huge fan. Let me take that back. I like horror movies. There's 2 different types of horrors. There's like that scary horror, and there's like grotesque horror. There's
a suspenseful, thrilling, like a Hitchcock kind of horror where you don't see it, but it's implied.
Yeah, more like Chucky was kind of like that, or like you see it and it's just scary. Mm-hmm. But then there's like this new age of horror, like Saw, and I'm not a fan of. It's just.
Is it too much detail?
It's just like a gross you out factor, and that to me that's I don't know. I don't like it.
Okay, what about the new Ghost movies? Like any Paranormal Activity or...
Oh man, those movies are so... So let's sidetrack here. I am not a fan of what they call documentary style of filming. Not even slightly. So ever since Blair Witch Project, recently I think I want to say the Crucible or something like that.
There was one with there was
the superpowers. It's already to see the cubicle.
It's the one where I saw shit. I can't remember right now. But I want to say it's from an O. It's one where he loses his son, and it's in spirit world and they can see ghosts and stuff in the house, and like apparently it's the father who was younger who fucking had these problems, and these spirits and like creatures like followed him. It was really fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't know. And then there's the whole Paranormal Activities.
You know what? Also, it's scared me. The Fourth Kind. That fucking alien movie. Oh, that fucked me up forever.
I'll give you those though. But okay, now we're getting sidetracked even more. But those horror or those documentary style type films, I cannot watch. They drive me insane. So all those paranormal films,
they're not scared of you. They're just annoying.
They're just annoying.
Okay.
Any paranormal or documentary style film like Quarantine, have you seen that? Or also,
no, that's scary.
What's that one? Cloverfield.
Cloverfield. It's not really a horror. That was more of an action.
I'm not talking about horror in general. I'm talking about. Okay. I cannot stand where it's a guy holding a camera. Like a who the hell film. Walks around with a camera for 2 hours? I don't know. If I saw a giant monster, I'm dropping that camera and I'm out. All right, it would just be me. Like, oh shoot! You see the camera hit the ground.
You see your shoes.
Running in the background, and that would be the whole damn film.
The end.
All right? I don't get it, and they just keep passing around camera, and like, who has the time? And I don't know.
All right, back to movies. Did you ever see the new Arthur or the original Arthur with Dudley Moore?
No, I haven't seen either one.
Okay, the original Arthur in '81 with Dudley Moore was a classic. There's two. There's Arthur, then there's Arthur 2 on the rocks because he's a drunk and that's a joke. And the newest Arthur was with Russell Brand. It was all right, but the first one was a lot better. Dudley Moore knocks out of the park.
Which is really so. One thing that's funny about reboots is when they come out with it, because you figure back then. Well, I don't know. It might have been cheaper to make films back then. I'm not going to say one way or another, but you figure like now, this movie has already been perfected, or this movie was good back then. You should be able to take that movie and make it better. So it's so funny when you see a reboot and people are like, "Damn, that movie that was 30 years old is still holds better than this crap right here." I want to say that about the new. So Carrie has been rebooted twice.
Actually, 3 times.
3 times?
Well, I have it on here. It's came out in '76, then again 2002, then last year.
Yeah. So the 2002 version of this movie sucks. It's really bad. I think the one that came out last year, it was okay. There's like a psycho part about the mom. I think that's lost in this generation. To us, it'd just be kind of weird. But like in '76, the mom being psycho, it worked.
Yeah,
I don't know. So it was just okay. I wouldn't say it was bad. I definitely wouldn't say it was worth the reboot.
Yeah, and some movies actually you won't even see ever because you don't watch foreign films. But The Birdcage, you ever seen The Birdcage?
No.
You ever seen it with Rob Williams?
Oh no, I've seen that Birdcage.
Okay, yeah.
The original I hadn't seen. No,
okay, it's the Cage Forles, whatever. It's a French film, but I don't think that The Birdcage could be as funny as the one I seen with the one that came out in '96.
It was a great movie.
It's really funny.
Yeah, it was definitely a funny movie at the time.
For all you science nerds or geeks, you'd see that Clash of Titans was a remake.
And that one, okay, so Clash of Titans. Let's talk about that. That had potential.
I saw the first one in school. Second one,
the remake or
the original one.
The original, yeah. The original,
one. No, 76.
Had that stop motion animation. So.
Oh, 81, sorry. Huh? No, I get the year right. 81 came out.
It had that stop motion, and it looked, I want to say, kind of crappy. There are parts to it that are good, but ultimately, to me, it looked kind of crappy. There are a lot of stop motion films that, like Willow, that I can get on board with. Clash of Titans was not one of them. And especially when they brought out the giant Kraken and they had him turn to stone. It looked so bad, I thought, in the original. But... So then they remade it, and I actually was excited about this film. We saw it on like the opening day. Boy, was I pissed off! I was like, it was so long and boring. I was like, even to tell me they had this. And what bugged me the most is they actually did the Kraken, and he looks like a badass. And I know that they're gonna turn him to stone, and that's pretty much the end of it.
Yeah.
But I figured at this point they would show him off more. I mean, this was like the build up of the movie. Like, oh crap, the Kraken's here. He's about to start some shit. and they turn him to stone. It's like, man, I knew this was gonna happen, but I thought they were gonna like at least make it more exciting than they did before. I don't know.
What I was going to do is I'll run through these and we'll give you just a quick response on a review on these. Let's see, Dawn of the Dead.
Great time for a remake. I thought the one sucked though.
I like the 2008 one. The 2008 one was with Big Rames, wasn't it?
Ving Rhames was in there.
They were in the mall.
Mekhi Phifer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're in the mall. Like, okay, so this movie,
Mm-hmm.
I like the trailer more than the actual movie. The trailer looked badass, and they had like this one scene that's not in the movie. In the trailer, at the very end of the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
it shows like this white wall, and all of a sudden you see like these white hands appear, like somebody trying to push down a glass.
Oh, really?
That scene is not in the movie anywhere, and it drives me mad.
What about Dinner for Schmucks?
Never saw it.
It was alright. The newest one, I didn't see the original was a French film, 98. Evil Dead.
So Evil Dead, I've seen the original a long time ago.
I had the original up there, the
Yeah.
DVD.
It was a cool. It was more of a comedy, right?
Evil Dead? It wasn't a comedy. There was a tree rape scene. I'm not sure if they have it in the original too.
What I mean is like it was like humorous.
It was cheesy.
Yeah, cheesy. There you go.
Yeah, it was very cheesy.
For it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a new one. I hear good things about it though.
Hey, what about Father of the Bride?
No, I haven't seen it.
The new one or the old one?
Well, either.
Oh, really? Father of the Bride's good. It was talking with Steve Martin. Footloose.
I've seen both.
Kevin Bacon one?
To me, musicals are something that worked. Footloose was a musical, right?
Yeah, it was
like
essentially,
kind of like a musical.
Yeah.
Like musicals worked really well in the '80s, like Willy Wonka and the Charlie Factory, Footloose, Grease. What's that other movie with John Travolta?
No, that's Grease.
No, there's another one. Hairspray.
Hairspray is
Yeah, those movies work great in the '80s. You're gonna have a hard time bringing that to the modern day crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they're bad. I specifically haven't seen a new Footloose because I can't say yay or nay. But I think when you bring those two, like this, talk about music schools specifically for right now. When you make a remake or a reboot of them, you're gonna have to take away that. I think it's really hard to keep that musical aspect of it attached. I just don't think a crowd sits down to watch musical nowadays.
So a 2014 My Fair Lady or a West Side Story won't work for you, you think?
I don't think it would. I mean, if you keep that musical aspect, it's
what if you rebooted it but kept the same thing? So West Side Story was, two gangs, they had knife fights and everything, but you can't nowadays. It's like, yeah, and you had the sharks and probably the other ones. But
it's cheesy game.
Yeah, and they all danced very effeminate, but they were all in gangs. Excuse me. So that wouldn't work for you.
I think it's going to be more along the lines where you take the name, or you don't take the name. You're going to have to take the story,
okay,
and give it a different name, and basically consider it a complete reboot, or like remake, or however you want to go about it. Where it's the same core to it, like the themes and story, but no music.
Okay, what about Friday the 13th?
I haven't seen it recently, but Friday the 13th to me is something that works best in the 80s and the early 90s. I mean, it's still scary now, but I don't know. Back then, I think we were scared of like a guy actually showing up to our house with a chainsaw, hockey mask, like some psycho. Now it's kind of like you rarely see people walking on the streets anyway, so the idea of anybody walking down the street with a chainsaw and hockey mask was like far-fetched.
We're gone 60 seconds.
I love both those films. I thought they were great.
The first one was good?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the first one. I didn't want to. Halloween.
Which Halloween was this?
Halloween was a Rob Zombie one we remade where it focused a lot when he was little.
I haven't seen the Rob Zombie one. I
was
thinking it was the Busta Rhymes one.
It was alright. Homeward Bound was a remake of...
So I see, that I didn't know either. Is the original with dogs and cats too?
I think so, because the original is called The Incredible Journey. This one's called Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. Just, I guess they just added to it, but I've never seen the first one. The first one came out in '63, so I'm sure it's really
crappy.
The Omega Man, I Am Legend, Will Smith, came out in '64, called Last Man on Earth, remade with Charlton Heston, '71 with the Omega Man, then 2007 with Will. It's
all based on a book too. I'd actually be curious. There's some of these films I didn't know were reboots.
Yeah.
That I'd actually be curious to see. Like the originals. Like I've seen the original Nutty Professor.
Yeah, they're supposed to do another I Am Legend, but I'm not sure. But Nutty Professor, The first one was the first one was alright. The first one has to be a classic because it's Jerry Lewis.
Yeah,
and Jerry Lewis is a really great comedic actor.
But I thought the new one was great. You brought it to a whole different crowd. Yeah, a whole different spin on it, and that's how a reboot should be.
Okay,
you take the core elements. It was like this.
Dr. Doolittle too. Dr. Doolittle talking to animals. I think it was Jerry Lewis as well. I could be wrong. Old Boy just came out last year. Did you see the original one or the first one?
I've seen parts of the original. I haven't seen the new. I hear the new one. So I hear the new one doesn't suck.
Yeah.
But if you like the original, it's better.
It's going to offend you.
Yeah. And it's harder to get attached to the new one. I mean, I hear it's a good watch for a first time.
Okay.
I don't hear great things about it, but I hear it's okay.
And what about Psycho?
Psycho is a film that at the time, it worked really well. The original Alfred Hitchcock Psycho.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this is one of the ones where the original was better than the remake, except for the original worked better in the 60s. The remakes doesn't work that great right now. So at the time, if you were to take both in their element, the original's better. But you can't watch it today and be like, you're not going to be that moved by it.
I think I couldn't get into the new one with it was a very young, very thin what's his name? Wedding Crashers. Not Owen Wilson, but what's the other guy? He was in
Vince Vaughn?
Vince Vaughn, there you go. Yeah. But he played Norman Bates. Actually, right now on Netflix or on Hulu, they have Bates Motel. Have you ever seen that show?
I'm gonna watch it once I watch all the other shows. Like I still got to catch up on like Dexter, True Blood. But yeah, I'm actually excited because I've been hearing interesting things about this film.
And Total Recall.
They say that apparently the only thing that's like the originals is 3 titties.
Yes, that's.
I haven't seen a new Recall, and I hear actually the renewed Total Recall is not bad. If you take it away from, it's not like the original Total Recall.
Yeah, I guess apparently it's not him getting to Mars. It's not get your ass to Mars anymore.
You can't make a reboot of Total Recall.
Those are iconic lines.
Yeah, there's like certain things you got to keep with it, like traveling to Mars, because at the time.
Get your ass to Mars.
Even now, the idea of traveling to Mars is still far-fetched. So, at that time, it was like a far-fetched idea that worked, like we should travel to Mars. So they should have kept that. To take all that is just to not even make a reboot of the damn film. I don't know. But what kind of film, all that being said, all that fun jazz about talking about reboots, which films do you think needs a reboot nowadays? Or which one you would love to see rebooted? So let me start off because you got to take some time to think.
No, I can tell you right now, I don't want to see any more reboots.
Really?
I really don't. I want to have new original ideas. Maybe some well-deserved sequels. A continuation of the stories that have been in the past that were left. That maybe there could have been some open-ended stories.
See, I'm for reboots when they're done well. I hear what you're saying. I do hate when ideas are recycled, but. Let's go back to the Angels in the Outfield. If you would have told me that was a recycled idea, I would have been like, what, seriously? Because at the time it was great and it was lost on me. Like, I had never seen the original. So it seemed like original at the time. To say it was a reboot does kind of give it like, that's interesting. But the film was so well made that I can get over that. I'll talk about a reboot that I really love that I know was a reboot, which is Battlestar Galactica.
The TV show, right?
The TV show,
okay, the TV show.
It's a reboot.
I didn't put shows on here. I put movies.
Well, yeah.
You throw me a curveball here.
My bad. So I did notice that, and I was like, I'll probably tell them later. Anyway, so Battlestar Galactica was really well made, I thought. And then it brought it to a new audience. And I have seen the original, and I think the reboot's probably a perfect time to reboot it, and it was done so well. That being said, I didn't like the ending of Battlestar Galactica, but it was.
I haven't Netflix, please don't.
Haven't watched it yet?
No, not yet.
Have you started yet?
No,
you haven't even started. Okay, so
I will though.
It's not for everybody, but
I'm gonna try it for things. I'll give it a try. I'll give it the little one-time try.
Okay, well, it starts off with a mini series, but I thought it was great. So that was something that. So I can see some films being. I'm with you with Hollywood needs more originality. And
or continuation of more ideas. I want to see sequels. I want to see stories that have happened.
But, a film I was hoping they should reboot, I really would love to see a reboot, is Dick Tracy.
Okay.
I thought at the time they made that, it was so good that if they remade it now, it would be way better.
That was okay. I can see that. I can see a Dick Tracy remake. But it would
They would
it be
Madonna.
the
She'd be
same?
too damn old.
would it be the same colorful? Because it was very colorful.
Yeah.
All the suits, and everything, all the buildings.
And it's
But it was portrayed in it was a 50s style genre,
noir style, film.
Yeah, kind of like if you watch Batman the animated series. It had all the new technology, but the cars and the people dressed and everything were very old school.
Yeah,
like 50s
I'm
and 60s.
such a huge fan of that noir style film. That's why I gravitate to like Sin City.
Yeah.
Plus, Sin City had that comic book style too. So comic book style, noir style. Dick Tracy worked so well, which I was going to say early '90s.
And the only piece of technology that would need to be updated was to be a watch. That's it.
Yeah,
That'd be it.
And then I would willing to throw down some money to see a new Dick Tracy.
Did you kickstart it?
I would kickstart it. Yeah.
Be careful though. I'll get back to that. Get that in a second. All right, on some gaming stuff before we wrap it up here real soon. DLC and season passes. Do you want to wait? Do you want to?
So
DLC is it going to be too long of a topic?
Let's talk about it real quick. I want to talk about specifically EA Sports. So I'm not a fan. I've slowly become less and less of a fan of EA Sports.
Were you ever a fan?
I was actually a big fan of EA Sports. Probably
what
early 2000s.
What sports?
Or let's say E and J. Let's take away sports. Just EA in general.
Okay.
The one thing that bugs me about EA is like, which were segues into season passes, was it drives me insane that every year I have to buy a new goddamn Madden game. Back when I was into Madden.
Yeah.
It seems like the game before is not drastically different. I can see if I was buying like a Final Fantasy 10 and a Final Fantasy 11.
Yeah.
They're two different games. And I can see like if I bought like Madden 95 versus Madden 2005, those are two different games. But Madden 2005, Madden 2006, they're so goddamn similar that you could just patch the damn original game.
Yeah, that would be. We talked about this before in the past. That maybe one game with numerous DLC, just update the roster, update the stats.
And I'd be so in that case, I'd be for a season pass for something like Madden because it doesn't change. I don't need to spend a whole new $60 just to play a game that's like 70-80% like the original.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it probably doesn't work like that when it comes down to technology and
also the coach mode or creative fantasy, whatever. They try to throw in like small things here and there,
like some BS justification, like this is a new game. No, it's just like the old Madden. I picked it up, and like the controls are so similar. Like that is where a season pass come in handy.
Yeah,
I can see that. Something like Battlefield, maybe if they plan to keep pushing it. Which they can push, like with technology, they can just build on a game for like years if they wanted to.
Yeah, but the also the price too. So I'm right now. EA Season Pass is $25 a year, and you get Madden, NHL, FIFA, all the updates, and everything in one $25 thing. Plus you get 20% discount on a paid DLC later. Now, Call of Duty and Battlefield both cost $50. That's a brand new game.
Yeah,
$50 for a couple of map packs, and I think like you get priority positions in servers and stuff. But it's not really. I saw that, I'm like, okay, that would maybe it was like $20. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to pay $50 for a year for a couple more maps and I don't maybe a faster experience. I don't know.
That's what I hear you. Like so recently, a game I thought was semi good was a Walking Dead Telltale game.
Yeah,
that was perfect for a season pass because that was broken up into episodes. So the game came out like over the period of like a year. It felt like that's where like a season because every one of those games I think I want to say was $20, but the season pass was like also $20. Maybe the math is wrong on that.
I think so.
Maybe they're cheap. Either way, it was cheaper to get the season pass because you got all 5 episodes. They didn't want them in individually, but I think something like that, a season pass come in handy, like an episodic story. Something like Battlefield, where it's just like new maps, when there's no more added story and no more added, when it's just the same game, just new story and guns. I don't think a season pass is necessary.
Yeah, there are no guns. You get more maps.
Yeah,
maybe faster progression in your leveling up, and it takes very long. And
I think that's something you buy if you want.
Yeah, I see it, and it's only if you get tired of the same maps, you get tired of things, and that'd be it.
Yeah, it's not for all people. Like something like Madden, if you're really into Madden or EA Sports games.
But the good thing with EA, even though the trouble they're having, one season pass gets you season pass for all 3 games. You get NHL, NFL, NHL, and FIFA. So that's 3 games that they're selling. Like, oh yeah, you pay the season pass, you get all this stuff. So if you don't have the game, you can go out and buy the game, and then you can.
I'll take one step further outside of EA and sports gaming and first-person shooters. So Final Fantasies have been recently doing this thing where they actually have a lot of DLC content. And even like something like Little Big Planet has like a lot of DLC content, which is paid. I can see getting a season pass for those too.
But is Final Fantasy more levels, more story?
No. Okay, so Final Fantasy, there is more story, like an extra like kind of chapters, but it's a lot of extra bosses, like extra missions, basically.
Yeah.
Like, and those bosses are fucking hard. Okay. I was watching this YouTube video, basically the top 10 bosses, and a lot of those are purchase bosses, and they are seriously like. They're not something you sit down and just beat. You sit down, figure out the strategy to beat them, and then 10 times later, you might beat them.
Yeah.
But they all cost. Like, that's what kind of took me out of it. I would hate to buy, like, 7 DLCs. When I played Folklore, a really old PS3 game, I bought, like, 6 of those DLCs. 2 of them, like, free. But they cost me probably, like... It probably was like buying the game twice.
Okay.
I would love, like, a season pass or something like that. Like a game that you can just keep playing that doesn't get old when you add more missions. DLC seems like it necessarily. So Final Fantasies, Folklore. Let's say like Halo, for example. If they kept adding more missions, not just maps and guns, if they actually had a new mission or a new challenge mode, like if they expanded, like an actual real expansion of that game.
Yeah.
Like something that could be its own little game or something expanded part of that universe. I can see that. It makes sense to me, like because it just keeps getting.
Well,
bigger
Halo
and bigger.
4 had the campaign multiplayer, and then it had a separate campaign where like you, I want to say it's you do the missions like not the main character, but like small squads, like the whole seasons of that you could play. So that came with it. So you got essentially somewhat 2 campaigns and multiplayer, and the multiplayer was more maps.
And if it's one of those, so a lot of EA is really guilty of this. They've been trying to sell DLC that's actually part of the game.
Yeah.
Recently with Resident Evil 6, they had
the 186 kilobyte unlocked.
At first, the idea was to charge you for this, and it's like, are you serious? This is literally part of the disc, and you're just going to charge me just so I can unlock something that I essentially already bought.
Yeah, it was what's her name? It was Ada Wong. Yeah,
Ada Wong's pack, and it's kind of like that's a cheap shot.
Yeah.
Now, if it's like a 2 gigabyte, they actually sat in the studio and made it. I'm for it. That makes sense to me. Like
I'll pay you for your time.
Yeah. What they should do is probably like throw it out there first. Like, okay, so which DLC would you like? Because nowadays all companies can have a 2-way dialogue with its users. It's not that hard. I mean, Xbox. The Xbone, when it came out with its original specs, there was a huge 2-way dialogue between what they were going to originally come out with and how the public wanted it. So Xbox took a step back, which I respect so much, that the fans wanted one thing, and this is how you originally designed it, but you went so as far as making what the fans want. That's something that should happen more often.
Okay.
I mean, how hard would it be for EA to say, hey, we had this game out. We just brought out the root Battlefield. What do you guys want?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are the one playing it. We can make this new mode and maybe no one will like it, or we can make a mode that you guys think would be awesome, and then make that and then release it under like a pack or something. Wouldn't that be awesome? I don't know. Just
maybe a player. Maybe you name it. Maybe a player player authorized pack or a player chosen pack or
I mean, I don't know. There's a 2-way dialogue that can be there. I mean, there's nothing stopping you. I mean, and fans that influence games like Smash Brothers Brawl, the Wii game. Sonic wasn't originally in the game, but enough fans like, oh, we would love to see Sonic versus Mario.
Because there were so many hidden. There was that hidden the screenshot of like, oh, you can unlock Sonic and everything. You unlock other people.
Yeah.
And people love that. And if you want to get into the other news here.
Yeah, so I just segueing there.
Segueing here. Little Mac has been announced for the new Smash Brothers.
So Little Mac, if you've ever played Punch Out or Mike Tyson's Punch Out, which is the original, or Super Dream Boy and Punch Out, whatever it was called, and then Super Punch Out, hard as hell games. But I was not even looking forward to buying a Wii U, but when I saw Little Mac, I think I'm going to have to go down and buy a goddamn Wii U now.
But Little Mac is literally Little Mac. He's about the size of Pikachu. He's a small guy. Like, he's like towered over by, they were showing comparison to Samus Aran, and he's towering. He's so small compared to her. And I'm not sure if it's like, he's supposed to be that small or, I don't know, but he's...
That being said, I saw that. Like I said, me and you have gone on this for long. Nintendo's been fucking up for a while, right?
Yeah.
I haven't even put a thought to buying a Wii U. I was pretty much... My Wii's been collecting dust ever since I bought the damn thing. But Little Mac might actually... So if Smash Brothers U, I guess, gets enough play, I'm going to have to go pick up a goddamn Wii U now.
I'm sure they'll up price long enough so you'll actually buy one.
By the time that game comes out. Yeah, I'm glad it didn't come out with the release pack. By the time it does come out, it still won't be worth it. I'll probably just buy this one game. That's it.
So that may be a system seller for you.
Maybe. I'm a huge competitive gamer. I only play games in general if a lot of other people are playing it, I can compete with. So that's why I got into League of Legends. That's why I bought StarCraft. That's why I bought Street Fighter. I love to play. I like to best other people and get bested. It's like more of a challenge than me beating like a preset storyline. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, I bought Final Fantasy 13.3. That shit's hard. I can't figure out what the hell I'm doing.
13.3 or 13.2?
13.3, the new one, came out Tuesday. Returns? Yeah. So, I'm actually getting frustrated with that game because I can't figure out what I'm supposed to be doing.
Spoil it. I'm 2 games back.
It would, like I said, it would be hard to spoil it because there's so much you missed out on. But yeah, I like more games where I'm facing against people. So if enough people go pick up Wii U and Smash Bros, I'm gonna go get it. Reluctantly, I'm gonna go get it.
And you can bring it over. We'll play it, and we'll see. Tell me how it is. One last thing I'll touch on before we take off. Kickstarter. If you have a Kickstarter account, be careful. We got an email. Did you get the email too?
Yeah, I got the email too.
Yeah. Okay. So Kickstarter, I guess Kickstarter website got hacked last Wednesday. They got information as far as names and usernames and everything, but not credit card information. So no unauthorized purchases were made. Nothing was done.
They say.
Yeah, but they also took 3 days to tell you that they got hacked because I guess they don't want to do any big thing. So if you have a Kickstarter account, go and reset your password. And
yeah,
they also said if it's a password that you use on other websites, just change that too, which sucks because it's a lot of. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're like me, and this is not the toot my own horn, you create passwords in sets. So I have my work passwords. I have my passwords I use a lot that I don't want to be connected, and I have passwords where I have dummy passwords, so to speak. So if I create an account for like a Pinterest, the password is going to be the same for what my Twitter account is, which is a throwaway password. It's nothing connected. It's not connected to my bank account password. You should consider doing that. So something like Kickstarter, you should have like a throwaway password where if it got hacked, you only have to change like 4 things like Twitter, the stuff that doesn't matter. If someone hacked my Twitter account, good, because I don't post shit on there anyway.
I use mine. You use yours. You don't use yours.
Yeah, I don't. I try to get into Twitter. It's not my thing. So if you hack my Twitter, if you hack my Pinterest, whoop-de-doo, now there's actually going to be stuff on my page, which I haven't posted for a while. But I wouldn't want it where you hack my Kickstarter account, all of a sudden you have access to my bank account. Yeah, so you should do it like that.
Also, if you have the option to do a double login like Google and Yahoo, have it's and Gmail too, or Google, sorry. It kind of annoys sometimes, but they have a thing where you put your password in, and then if you have Blizzard too, if you play WoW, or any Blizzard game, they have the 2-part authentication.
Yeah, that actually should be in everything. As annoying as it is, this has happened so many times where accounts have been hacked. Every 2 months you hear a new company, and it's not like a small company like the store got hacked. It's like Bank of America got hacked.
Yeah, Target.
Yeah. We're talking about giant corporations are getting hacked, and they have thousands upon millions of customers.
Yeah.
So you get hacked, and you essentially give away a good 10% of the population's information. Everything should be 3-part authentication. It should be retina scan. It should be thumbprint. I mean, somebody has to have some improvement somewhere, but this has to stop happening, and it has to.
Yeah. I use my 2-part anytime I can.
Yeah, everyone should be using their 2-part anytime they can, and you should write down your passwords on a piece of paper and hide it away, like random. It shouldn't be stored anywhere on your computer.
Yeah,
it should be stored physical. Where if somebody hacked your computer, they wouldn't be able to get your password. They look through your files. They'd actually have to break into your apartment.
Yeah, a physical copy of your password.
A physical copy of your password. And then, even then, you should encrypt that if you can, if you know how to do encryption.
DaVinci shit.
Yeah. Otherwise, some bad shit can happen. Because a lot of people, and so I actually have a website. I used to have a website which actually used to have members on it, and I would send them a random password generator. Mm-hmm. Not because I wanted their password, but because a lot of times when people set passwords, they're gonna log in with the username they use for everything, and then set the password to the same. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
This is going to be your random generated password. I suggest you go to I usually go to randompasswordgenerator.org or something, and you can kind of set the parameters, and it'll just give you a random password. They don't even ask for you for a username. They just give you a random generated password, a random sort of letters and numbers, which you should always be doing for every password in general, and then print it out on a piece of paper somewhere. That's the best way to go about it, I think.
Okay. Two take guys to you.
So really weird note to end on, but this is what we spend our day doing. We don't talk about sports. We don't talk about the latest hot chick. Ellen Page came out. Do you know that? I didn't know that.
Ellen Page came out as gay. Yes.
Yeah, but we don't talk about that stuff. We talk about security passwords. We talk about rebooting movies. We talk about
old cartoons.
That's what we spend our nights doing. This is GGWP, 2 of the geekiest cats right here, Dre and
Taylor,
and we're gonna be signing off today. Folks, change your password.
Yes.
Change your password.
Change your password.
Peace.